From the scandals rocking the anti-Trump establishment Republican group called the Lincoln Project, we're learning tens of millions of dollars that flowed into the political fundraising powerhouse went directly into companies run or controlled by its founders. Here now is the Hill's media columnist and Fox News contributor, Joe Concha. Joe, great to see you. Wonderful column in the Hill about all this. Let's start with the money, because there's a lot to talk about on here. Lincoln Project raised about $90 million, if I have it right, to defeat Donald Trump. Where exactly did that money go?
$27 million, David, went towards advertising. Lincoln Project was very effective in that regard in terms of creating the type of ads that got a lot of pickup by the media and play on other cable networks anyway. So 27 million out of 90 million advertising. 50 million, however, went towards firms controlled by leaders of the Lincoln Project. So wow. If I'm, say, Gordon Getty, who donated $1 million, or David Geffen, who donated $500,000, I kind of want to know, did my money actually go towards the purpose of this project, which is to defeat Trump and ultimately also defeat Republican senators, or was this to line the pockets of the very people that are running this project? We don't know that, but it looks very fishy right now, and several reports seem to indicate that it was the latter, that this was about lining their pockets, even after, by the way, David, in June, they were told about John Weaver and those horrible text messages
we'll get to that
young
in just
boys
a second, John,
soliciting sex.
One of the ironies of this is that one of the major bombshells that the Lincoln Project came out with was tying Trump officials to getting some of their organizations reaping the benefits of money that was supposed to go to the Trump campaign. That was a bombshell. It turns out they were doing exactly the same thing, right?
That's exactly right. And look, these guys were media darlings, and I speak in past tense because I think now this Lincoln Project is dead, and I'll tell you why in a second, because they were put on CNN, MSNBC in aggregate dozens of times. 60 Minutes, CBS, 2 weeks before the election, did a glowing profile on the Lincoln Project. And what these guys were ultimately, David, were some sort of, if you put Michael Avenatti into a cloning machine, out came Steve Schmidt or Rick Wilson or George Conway, who's on track to win another Husband of the Year award, no question about that. Exploiting his name, obviously, Kellyanne Conway being the former senior counselor to the president. So that's what happened here. And then even after these allegations came out, David, against John Weaver, 17 times, Lincoln Project co-founders were on TV and they weren't asked about it once, which is just remarkable considering that this is a very serious allegation as far as soliciting young boys for sex. And then obviously there's the money issue as well. So the good news is that the donations have stopped. They stopped doing the online donations. They haven't tweeted for several days. The Lincoln Project has not. And Steve Schmidt has resigned as one of the top people there. So it looks like it's all over for them.
Are the media now reporting this, reporting the scandal, reporting the fact that there were all these disclosure statements after people left the organization that they were forced to sign so that they didn't have to talk about all this? I mean, is there any kind of media reporting? 60 Minutes used to pride themselves on, investigations specifically like this one, or the one that you and others are doing on the Lincoln Project, but they don't seem to be doing it, do they?
There hasn't been a lot of reporting on the Lincoln Project on the broadcast side, right? So ABC, CBS, NBC, those evening news broadcasts are watched by 25 million people when you add them all up. And yet they barely touched it, maybe a couple of seconds here and there. And then otherwise, there has been some good reporting, though. Axios, the New York Times, The Hill, obviously, we're covering that the 19th. So it's been a mixed bag. But if you're MSNBC, you have 3 Lincoln Project members on your staff, and, they're still going to be going on. They said that they have no plans to change that.
They also condemned the Trump administration for not having enough women, and it turns out that they didn't have women in leadership positions much at all either. So there was so much hypocrisy there. I wish we had more time. This is a rich subject, rich vein to mine here, but we've run out of time. Joe Concha, thank you very much.